When Jace was born, I was in jail. And that was one of those things that really kind of woke me up, like, hey, you need to get it together. You've got kids out here. Get your act together, get out there and be a good father. And so yeah, once I was released, that was my main goal, was reunification with my children.
You know, when we were dating, we just talked about having a very large family. And then we had 4 biological kids, and then we found out we couldn't have any more kids. So it kind of was like, you know, what does that mean for us? Where do we go from here? So I was like, what about foster care? And I just kind of researched it a little. And everywhere I went, something happened where God's like, yes, now. So we got a call, it was like 2 in the morning, and it was January.
It's always 2 in the morning.
It was cold. I remember driving there in the snow. They were like, here are the boys, sign. And you know, they hardly had anything. And I remember putting him in our car and just like looking in the rear view, like, oh my gosh, what did I say yes to? You know, this is crazy. They were 1.5 and 2.5. And I get home, and I had called PJ and home, and I said, run a bath. They're pretty in rough shape right now, pretty dirty. You know, we didn't wake up our kids, so I think one of them shared that she woke up and just kind of walked into the living room, and there was boys sitting there, and she was just kind of like, oh, hi, you know. Oh, there's some new kids here.
Like, these kids are coming from broken homes. Their parents come from broken. It's just this constant cycle. So, you know, for me, I loved my childhood growing up. It was just awesome. And so I had my parents and my brothers and my sister, and realizing these kids don't have that. Trying to give them something similar to that I think is a lot for them. Even if it's 3 weeks or a month or whatever, you know, I think it's something that is beneficial for them, some type of stability.
I made a few trips out here on an airplane to go to court hearings, and after 2.5 years was finally granted custody of the boys, during which the last case, the last hearing from the judge actually had tears in her eyes because she was surprised to see a father go through all the effort that I did to gain custody of the children. It was definitely a hard fight, to say the least.
And I'll give Josh a lot of credit, because a lot of dads could have been, I don't care, but he does everything he can, and he puts in the time and effort.
I came out here and I got to meet Jace for the first time and see Draven for the first time in over 18 months. And it was hard, it was emotional. I remember just sitting there thinking, like, what have I done? Where have I been? What did I do to my kids? Like, the first night they stayed with me, I didn't sleep a wink. I was just like, oh my God, this really happened. I was in shock, and I just sat there on the couch, because at the time, 1-bedroom apartment, they're sleeping on an air mattress. I'm sitting on the couch watching them sleep. Like, they are absolutely adorable. This is a lot. Honestly, at that point I put my faith in God. Like, he's going to provide me the strength to get through this. He's going to guide me along the way to helping to raise these children. My boys mean everything to me. I love them to death. I couldn't imagine another day without them. I couldn't imagine going through what I've already went through with not having them in my life every day. I work 2 different jobs, I work side jobs, all to be able to provide for them, because they are just the world to me.
I feel like they were just like basically like they were actually our family. It's like it wasn't like ever like, oh, this is like not like my siblings. So it was like really weird when they left, because we're like, oh, like where's our 2 other siblings at? But it's just like really sad because we won't see them and like they've been in our life for so long, they feel like part of our family.
Like it's kind of weird when they leave. Like you get back in like the routine, but like sometimes you come home from school, you're like, and you're like, oh wait, they're not here.
Ellis, one time, she was, what was your story? Do you remember this praying thing about adoration?
I was in adoration, and I was praying that we could see them again, and he said yes. So.
He said, didn't he also say we might not get to adopt them, but we would still get to see them? Is that what the Lord said? Yeah.
So once I got custody of the boys back, I was very closed-minded to the thought of staying in contact, basically, with PJ and Kristina. I was like, okay, I've got custody, you know, they did their part, I'm appreciative, but that's where I draw the line. And it wasn't until my current girlfriend was like, you know, you need to open your heart a little bit, you need to open your mind. They cared about those boys. Those boys loved them, they love those boys. You should really reach out because they do seem like good people. And so I did. Oh, well, the first time I met Kristina was at the first visitation with the boys after not seeing them in such a long period of time. And I didn't know what to think. Okay, this doesn't seem like a bad person or anything like that. Didn't seem like somebody from the horror stories I had heard. But I wasn't entirely sure what to think.
I had kind of a lot of thoughts about what Josh would be, and you know, that he wasn't, you know, the greatest dad and all these things, and the Lord just really provided that space for me to learn. And it amazed me, you know, that he did so much in such a little time, and really turned his life around to be with his boys, and it just really opened my eyes. You know, at first I think I texted probably a lot. I probably drove you crazy. And then, you know, PJ, my husband, was like, you have to give him space. You know, he is trying to rebuild his life with them and his relationship, and he just needs that space. And that was hard for me to agree with and understand. But I did. I just kind of stopped. And then I said, hey, I'm going to put a date out there to Josh. And I'm just going to say, here's the date. Can we see him? You know, see them, put that out there. And PJ's like, are you sure? Like, are we ready for this? You know, he could say no to you. Like, do you? And I said, I just need to put my heart out there. I just want to do it. And Josh said, okay, it sounds good. And so it had been almost a year since I had seen the boys. And I knew our kids would lose their mind. So we didn't tell them. Okay, guys, I'm going to videotape this. You ready? Okay, let's go and see. See what happens when they see you. I love Flora's Lava. All right.
That's my name.
Do you guys remember this house at all?
Oh my gosh! Hi!
And the kid's face, I have video. I mean, my daughter immediately, she was shaking and crying, and she's like, what are they doing here? And I mean, it was the most beautiful reunion. Hey guys, come here. I got a surprise for you. I mean, they stay the night almost every other weekend, or, you know, stay the weekends with us. And, you know, every time they're here, one of the boys will say, why do you stare at me? And I'm like, I'm just so happy to see your face in this house. I'm just so happy to see you, just because it's still unbelievable that we've been blessed with this opportunity to be in their life again. We were at Mass with the boys, and Draven said, you know, can I write a letter to Jesus? And I was like, sure, buddy, you know, here's people praying, whatever. And he just said, you know, dear Jesus, thank you for giving me such a big family. And so in his eyes, he has all these siblings, and he has 2, you know, men in his life, and so to him, it's such a blessing to have both, and he can see it in that, you know, that beautiful, innocent way. And it was so sweet. And the picture he drew, my family, and it had all of us in it. Mm-hmm. So.
Confused everybody at the school. Because they would both go to school talking about, oh yeah, we were with our other family, and they're like, well, what do you mean other family? So I would have to explain it to them, like, this is the situation. We're all one big family though now.